want to tell you what exactly is happening with Brazil, with Russia, with China, with South Africa, with all these other countries, and how they're basically conspiring to take out the US dollar. The US currency is the reserve currency for the entire world, and it's how petroleum's been traded, it's how all these other things have been done for years and years and years. So China and Brazil have now struck a deal to trade in their own currencies. So they've taken the US dollar out, and now they're trading in their own currencies. From supply and demand, there's less of a demand on the US dollar. Because it's been the most traded currency, it's been the most accepted currency. This is why it's so important that you pay attention to what's going on right now with the US dollar. Because as we see all these banks collapse, and you can check out our video about banks collapsing, this signifies what's happening with the US dollar. So history basically shows that every 100 years or so that the reserve currency changes. And like I said, it's been 1945, we've been the most stable economy, but it doesn't mean we're not due for a change. So Ray Dalio is one of the most respected economists, business entrepreneurs, and one of the things that he says about the US dollar is the following. Ray Dalio's changing world order theory explains that reserve currencies go through 3 stages: rise, top, and decline. Right now, we are in decline. During the rise, there's peace, prosperity, innovation, and borrowing. During the top, the leading country becomes less competitive as other countries copy its innovations for a fraction of the cost. Thank you, China. And during decline, people lose faith in the currency, leading to inflation and the loss of value, hence where we're at right now. Tens of banks going out of function overnight, like basically they cease to exist, they get bankrupt. You got the 8th largest bank, Silicon Valley Bank, went bust. We got Signature Bank went bust. We've got Credit Suisse going bust. We've got all these other banks and financial institutions going bust. And so what that means is as people continue to lose faith, the dollar continues to go down in value. So now as we look at our competitors, because that's what they are, other countries are competing as a nation with us, the US economy, and saying, hey, guess what? We don't have faith in the US dollar. Let's just trade in our own dollars because we don't know what's going on with these guys. When they look at the leader and chief commander or the local politics of what's going on, and they're looking at us and they're saying, all right, there's this huge amount of inflation. They have lost faith in the US dollar. So the US dollar's value is tracked against 3 factors: the exchange rate to other currencies, demand for the 10-year Treasury note is another way, right? So let's talk about what a Treasury note is. So first of all, a Treasury note is basically the government printing out a bond and saying, hey, we're going to pay you a return on this bond. Essentially what they're doing is they're borrowing money. This country's borrowing money and they're paying X dollars of return. And then of course, the other thing is you're gonna look at the foreign currency reserves. And this doesn't have to be just dollars. This could be gold, this could be oil, this could be other valuable resources. And if you ever listen to Robert Kiyosaki, he always breaks down the word current and currency as how things move. Currency is how dollars move. It's important to realize that just because we're trading in dollars right now, I believe that we won't have dollars anymore. Like if the government has its way, the dollar will go away and everything will be traded through digital tracking. One thing to mention is the dollar had been weakening because of COVID-19, but since 2020, it's been going up in value, but also the inflation means it's been less valuable here in the US. Let's go over the China and Brazil currency deal. This is like a huge move for international trade. When countries are trading goods and services, you have to look at the goods and services that the US is trading. When we come to the international swap meet, so to speak, and the things that are coming in, we have a lot less things that are going out these days that are coming in. So we are major consumers and not big time exporters. And so when both countries, China and Brazil, use their own dollar and they bypass the US dollar, guess what that does? It makes it less valuable, right? Because it was the reserve currency, it was the trusted currency that everybody used. And then they're like, you know what? Forget about these guys over here, which is fine, right? We're gonna use our own currency because we don't trust and have faith in this currency anymore. And despite competition, the US dollar remains the primary reserve currency. So even though everything's going to hell slowly, it's still the dominant one. And it's still widely used for international transactions. All this stuff only matters to our country, but it doesn't matter to you personally. Like, how does your dollar being traded in Brazil and in China affect you? It doesn't. Unless you trade currencies for a living. It doesn't affect you. What you should worry about doing is going in saying, hey, I've got this amount of money, no matter what it's coming in, whether it's yuan or whether it's shekels, or whether it's stones, or however you're getting paid, you need to find out a way to control assets, real estate assets, things that people are gonna need, and then get paid in whatever currency is gonna be most valuable to you. Concentrate on what you can control, not what you can't, and happens with the world is not anything that you can be concerned with, but what happens with your own personal finances is. So one of the videos that I had that went viral is I said 5 ways that you're always gonna be broke, and I said, you know, you go to Starbucks every day, pay your minimum balance on your credit card, you don't bring your lunch to work, but I was just trying to explain that, like, if you're not in control of what you spend your money on, the little things count. Make the little decisions every day that affect you in the long term so that you can retire. Like, if you buy a house today and then in 5 years that house goes up $100,000 and you make 20 or 30 or 40 or 50,000 or even $100,000 a year, how big of an investment did that end up being for you? Even if the cash flow was minimal, because you got so much major upside, and you've heard this from people time and time over again, real estate will change your life. Here's what I really want to get at. Don't worry about what you can't control, but be aware that we are not respected as the almighty USA. And I got news for you folks. We talk about state-run media like North Korea, like, hey, how they only see what they want the people to see. That's us. Like, if you have noticed anything in the last couple years, the fix is in. There's still backdoor dealings with judges. There's still backdoor dealing with politicians. The fix is in. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Make good investments that affect you personally. Understand that the system is rigged. And it's like what you tell your children, life ain't fair. So make the best out of what you can control. So to wrap up this video, what I want to tell you is, does this matter to you, the fact that China is eating our freaking lunch? Yes, it does matter to you, because you are a commodity. You are going to be traded just like a dollar. The marketplace does not value you. And you need to understand that, because most international companies, pretty much every airline company with the exception of Southwest Airlines, pretty much every credit card company with the exception of Capital One and a few others, are using the Philippines, Brazil, Egypt, all these other countries to do all their telemarketing. Most countries are shopping labor out. The only people who are getting jobs in the US are people who work at fast food locations, DoorDash, Uber, things like that, low jobs or high skill set jobs. But the other jobs, like the jobs that used to be there, they're going away and they're being shopped to cheaper places. What's happening to those countries? They're getting richer as we continue to get poorer, and you're gonna see the demand for real estate in the US go up, but only as investment vehicles, because what's happening is those places are not as desirable to live, but they're desirable to rent out. That's why we invest in real estate. So if you're interested in investing in real estate, make sure you subscribe to our channel, make sure you ask questions, make sure you comment, make sure you get started, get serious about investing in yourself, and understand that you only control what you can control. Talk to you in the next one. Peace. Are you a tax cheat? Are you somebody who uses cash? Are you somebody who relies on cash for business? You're screwed. If you focus on finding solutions for problems, if you focus on investing in real estate, you will never have to worry about what kind of currency we are trading in.